What's up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. On our Wealth Wednesday, I'm Angela Yee and Stacey Tisdale.
Happy Wealth Wednesday, everybody. We are going to help you look good. We are going to help you feel good. And we're going to tell you how to be an amazing entrepreneur because we have Katini herself, the singer, songwriter, skincare, everything. We're just so excited to have you today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I trust you because your skin looks amazing.
Right?
Thank you. I've been like working
Angela
like crazy long
like
hours.
you're
Oh my God.
staring at her and going,
Oh, thank you. So excited to be here.
Beautiful. But skincare is one thing, but you do so many things, singing, songwriting, and I know you have quite a mix of Japanese mother, your father's from Guyana, and that really seemed to inform your music and your skincare choice. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so my mom is Japanese. So I was born in Tokyo, Japan, and lived between West Africa and Japan until I was about 5-6 years old.
Your dad's from Ghana.
Ghana,
right?
in West Africa. And then I relocated to Australia. So unfortunately, my dad passed when I was about 5, and there was like a school in Australia that my parents were really like inspired by, and so to honor that, my mom moved my siblings and I to Australia, and then kind of was in Australia, moved back to Japan, and then now I'm based here in New York City doing my music, and Katini Skin is based here.
Okay, so what came first, the music or the skincare?
So the music, well, actually, so we moved to the school in Australia.
Tell her about the school.
Yeah,
that's where she was just telling me in
it's
the
a
green room
really
about
interesting
the
school. So I grew up in a really holistic household where my mom and my dad raised us all vegetarian from birth. Yoga, meditation was a part of the school curriculum, a part of the life curriculum. And then, so the school that we went to had it like as a part of the program. So you learn meditation and yoga. You could only bring plant-based food to school. And you actually learnt how to make your own products like soaps and perfumes using things that were growing in the garden. And so because we were already raised in that environment, my mom was like, I want to further that and take my kids to the school. Now we kind of moved from like neon metropolis Tokyo, city life, where like there's buildings everywhere, to this tiny town called Mullaney, where there was more cows than people. The school was literally in the middle of the rainforest. Like,
so you guys moved there just for the school?
Yeah, just for the school.
Yeah.
So it was, my mom also, she was like, we just lost our father, and she was like, it'd be a beautiful place for healing as well. Like, we were living in Japan, we were going to international school, but now my mom being a single parent, she's like, there's no way I can afford to take all my kids there. They'll have to go to a regular Japanese school. Now, Japan's very homogenous, and she thought they could be bullied. Like, I don't know if that's the right thing for them. So this school was like her calling. She was like, we're doing it.
She thought you could be bullied because...
In Japan, just because schooling is very homogenous, and they have this saying where it's like deta kugi wa utareru, which means like the nail that sticks out will be hammered back in place. And so we would probably be the nail that stuck out because we were these mixed kids,
right? Like
in Japan, in Japanese society. Now, I never experienced direct racism, but I know that in Japan, like if you are different, kids tend to pick at that. You know what I mean? And she didn't want that to like affect us and our future and how we saw ourselves in the world and in society.
And how did your mom and dad meet?
They met in Japan. So my dad was there backwards and forwards for work. He was a diplomat, and he spoke Japanese perfectly. At the time, like my mom's, nobody was really like getting married, like interracial marriages weren't really a thing. And so they met. My dad was super charming. He would make jokes in Japanese. He read like the Japanese newspaper. And so I think my mom's family were like, he is an African man. He looks very different, but he understands our culture and respects that.
Right.
And so sort of allowed that marriage to happen. But
okay.
Yeah.
I love that story.
That's cool. And you bring a lot of that, your spiritual approach to life into your music and to your business. I was reading how you said the importance of mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual balance for entrepreneurs is critical. Talk a little bit about that.
Totally. And I learned that growing up through this, the meditation, the yoga that was around my house and as well at the school. But it's the only thing that kind of can expand your mind and really like, we live in a world where we're seeing so many things in the external that can limit us in the way that we see ourselves, especially where we come from, our culture, our race, our background. But the spiritual aspect really like puts a pause on all of that and allows me to like tap into myself and be like, who am I and what do I want to do? And helps me expand my mind. So I think it's really important that we tap into that.
And a lot of people are talking about mindfulness and spirituality. We even talk
Yeah.
about it around money, but people don't. Meditating is stepping out of your thoughts.
Yes.
So stepping out it's actually, some people are like, oh, I can't meditate, because I'm like, because you're sitting there just following
Yeah, your
thoughts
mind is
around.
racing.
It's
Yeah.
like stepping out of that, and even if you can just do it for a second, practicing it strengthens that muscle just like a workout. And that's the key to everything, like imposter syndrome, being bullied, all this stuff, being able to step out of it so you can make different decisions, and how important that. I'm told you I'm having you on this new.
No, I love it. No,
platform.
it's really true,
Yeah.
and I thank my mom for it. I think when I was a kid, I was like, "You're so weird. Like, why do I have to meditate? Why do I have to go
Yeah.
to school and all those things?" But like as an adult, it's the only thing that keeps me grounded. And it expands my consciousness to a point where I'm like, okay, I can look at a situation, I can be wrapped up in it emotionally and like go along that roller coaster, or I can put a pause and be like, look at things holistically,
Yeah.
like, okay, is that really what I want to do? Is that really going to affect me that badly, and make better decisions that way?
That's interesting, because they definitely don't really teach that in school here.
They don't.
And that could be
Yeah.
something that could be incorporated. And I think even as an entrepreneur,
Totally.
knowing how to be able to meditate, yoga, I think, is a great time. When I get a chance to do yoga, I feel like it's a meditative thing to do,
Oh, very.
because
Definitely.
you're so focused on just the stretching of it and doing everything. I can't even think about anything else.
Yeah, and the positions actually slow your mind.
Yeah, it's
I
like
mean, it's-
training. It's like discipline for your body to be like, okay, at the time it's difficult, but it's really just like allowing you to see things in a different way.
And you brought all of that to money and entrepreneurship. And I know you got your initial funding from the Black Progress Resources Collective,
Yeah.
which is an incubator.
Yes.
And I think we have so many wonderful entrepreneurs in our audiences, and I don't think a lot of them know what business incubators are
Yeah.
or know how to tap into them. So tell us all about that. And now you're on the board, so you're going to tell us how to join you and everything.
Yeah, totally. So, I mean, I'll answer that question as well with your previous question with like which came first, music or skincare. Now, it was music. Like I was initially signed at 17 to a major label in Japan.
Great.
Did that and then moved to New York as an independent artist. And
What kind of shock was that, by the way, moving to New York from the Japan,
The hills.
Australia, and then coming here?
It was a pretty big. I mean, so I was in Japan for 2.5 years. I was meant to release debut in Japan, and then I'm not sure if you remember, there was a huge tsunami earthquake that happened that
Yes.
hit Fukushima, and so that was like the year that I was meant to release. And then there was a lot of radiation problems that we weren't really spoken about in the Western world. But my mom was like, "You need to get out of there," and I also felt a little bit in danger, so I left and then moved here. So it was kind of like, the shock between Tokyo and New York. I mean, they're both big cities, but New York is very free. You can say what you want, like things, you just got to fend for yourself, kind of like you're out here
Right.
in these streets. And I didn't know a single soul in New York, but I was
Wow.
like, that is where I want my career to blossom. So in that sense, I felt a bit more, I had family in Tokyo, a little bit more like sheltered in a sense, because things were in order. Like you could go to the Starbucks and leave your purse on the table, go to the bathroom,
You don't do that here.
do your makeup,
Yeah.
come back, and it's still there,
Yeah.
Where here it's like,
You could leave it on a chair next to you and it might be gone, okay?
exactly. And so, did that, moved here, have been an independent artist for a while now. And I've always wanted to start this beauty business because I've always been like, I love skincare. It's another self-expression. It's important that, we give ourselves love so then we can go out into the world and mirror that with others. And that applies to every single industry, whether it's music, whether it's business, whatever it is. And I was like, okay, maybe it'll come later on in my career, because I know starting something like that takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money, takes a lot of resources that I just didn't have. I was just like doing my music and that's all. And so the pandemic hit, and I remember I was at a really exciting place in my music career, and I was like moving towards potentially signing to my dream label, and then the pandemic hit, and I was just like, oh my God, I've worked so many years for this. But
Right.
I mean, that's so many people had stories with like what they lost during that time. And I remember being in my apartment and just writing songs for my publishing company, like writing jingles, writing, commercials and things. And of course I did that for a job, but it wasn't something that I was super passionate about. Like I love to perform and write my own music and tell my own stories. And I remember driving myself insane, being in my apartment, being like I can't write another jingle. Like, give me another project universe that I can focus on and put my skills towards, and that I can just put my mind and hard at, just put all of this at rest for a second, just so I don't have to like kill myself thinking about like what I can do in a state that nothing can really happen. And literally like a week later, I had a phone call from a friend of mine that I had helped on this like luxury beauty conference that he hosts once a year in New York, because I was just curious about the new brands that were coming up. And he's like, there's this amazing organization called Black Progress Resources that is looking to partner with a young founder. I put a few names forward. They really resonated with your story. Do you want to take the call? And I was like, I'll take any call.
Please.
Like, I got nothing going on right now. And so I got on a call with them, and what they do is they work to change the color of the executive suite across corporate America. They're a staffing program, so they'll staff like a Black CEO to then inspire everybody at the company that, yes, there is a place for you, and yes, you can work towards that. And they also have a business incubator. And as one of their very first brands and founders, they wanted to work with me on a beauty brand. Mm-hmm. And they had found out that I had this holistic background and that I really loved natural beauty. And so I was just like, oh my God, this is like really a dream come true.
You put it out there and the universe answered you.
Really. Yeah. And I think life is like that. If you like have a passion for something and you can visualize it, it's just a matter of time until reality catches up with that. And I think
absolutely.
And it's also planting those seeds where the relationship that you had with him, where you helped him with something and then he knew your skills and capabilities that he could actually co-sign you for this opportunity. That's why it's important how you show up for people and how you represent yourself too, because you don't know how that's going to come back.
I 100% agree with you. And I think it's even like along our journey, we'll have like I've had so many random jobs to like, make ends meet. But each of those jobs and each of those opportunities and the people that you meet, you have to treasure them because you just don't know when your paths are going to cross. And we live in a world where human connection is everything, right? And it's like, I don't know when we're going to meet again, but if it's a beautiful exchange, it'll be an even more beautiful exchange in the future. Mm-hmm. And so this was one of those moments where I'm just like, oh my goodness, I would love to partner with them. And I've always been like, and I think this comes from both of my parents because they did a lot of like work for the community when I was younger. And they were always like, whatever you do, whether it be, in music or business, like make sure that you're bringing some sort of positive impact into this world. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I want to start a company, but a part of me was like, I want to make sure that my partners understand the importance of uplifting the community. And so, especially being from, Asian and Black backgrounds, same. We're here. I was like, I want to make sure that we can be a voice that like things can happen. And we're talking about this like backstage, but it's like people of color come from, a lineage of kings and queens and emperors and empresses. Like we need to see ourselves in that way. And so creating Katini Skin has been like, paying homage to ancient wisdom and all of the beauty secrets that run deep within my culture and bringing them to the modern world, but in a sense that can like sit alongside legacy brands.
Katini is like the perfect name too. Oh. It just sounds so good.
I know, right?
Katini Skin. It sounds elegant.
It sounds luxury.
It does. It sounds like luxury, And like you said, being Asian and being of African descent also, during the pandemic, it was a really difficult time.
Such a difficult
It was so
time.
Divided.
Super divided.
Even though both cultures were being attacked by Donald Trump at that time, but then it was also a lot of hate between both sides too, and I think that's a really unfortunate thing.
It was really unfortunate. And it was just like, I didn't even know how to feel about it. I'm just like, I have, part of my family, and you too, like are Asian and Black. I'm like, if my mom came to New York City right now and I was fearful for her to get from point A to B, like that kills me. But there's so many families out there,
Right.
Oh, so you both, that was a difficult time for Black Asian heritage for so many reasons. To get back to business incubators a little bit, tell people what did they do for them?
Totally. So what happened was we had this call and they were like, we want to build this company with you. We will fund it and help you get the resources to bring your product to the market. Now, to me, I was just like, that's everything because I love beauty, but I know nothing about it.
And they teach you and they train you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had an incredible team. It's run by Dean Hainsworth and Catherine Ragusa, founding partner. She already had a lot of experience in the beauty industry. She had a couple of her own beauty brands. So together with their team, I was able to build Katini Skin. Like I had a lot of the recipes just in my little book since I was like a kid and what I wanted, but they had the relationships with the labs. So we brought what I had for years and that ran in my family for years, to the lab. We developed that. We spent 2 years incubating Katini skin, but they helped me everything from like packaging and making,
it looks really, really nice and clean.
Thank you.
I love that. I love it. I know she's because we always talk about the challenges to access to funding.
Yeah.
And people don't realize in these incubator and accelerator programs, they pick you.
Yes.
They train you. They mentor you.
Yeah.
They help you with the design, packaging, and stuff, and then they fund you.
Yes.
And it's a lot of entrepreneurs of color don't know they exist. It's accelerators, incubators, and there's actually a National Business Incubator Association where you can check out, and you're on the board now. Tell people how they would find
That's
yours.
amazing.
Yeah. So, blackprogressresources.com we've got partnerships with like Walmart and the NFL and some amazing companies where we'll go and sort of staff executives at the company. So if you jump onto that website
and let people know DEI, like staffing executives is qualified executives, not just a color to fit a quota.
Qualified,
it's people who deserve to be there. Yeah,
exactly.
And what you do, these organizations are going to become so much more important and critical to us because of the assault on DEI.
Exactly. It's so important. I think it's a really sad time right now with the assaults, but there's so much incredible talent that need to be championed and that need to be in the forefront to inspire the next generation. So
I want to, when it comes to your product, so it took you 2 years, right, to develop. So what were the first items, what were the first products that you came out with in your line?
We came out with the 4 oils. So the 4 oils, this is our hero product. It took a while for like a lot of the ingredients to come in because I wanted to focus on ingredients and wild harvested flora from Japan, Australia, and then in Africa as well. And so you can imagine during the pandemic, it was like, I think it took us a year to get, where is here? So kwangdong is like a superfruit that comes from indigenous Aboriginal people in Australia. And they've been eating it, they've been using it topically for the longest time. And my partner was like, are you sure you want to bring that ingredient, and it's going to take at least about a year? But I'm like, there's so many benefits to the skin and so much more vitamin C than any other citrus fruit that you can think of that we can find here. And so
I've never heard of a product that has kwangdong in it.
Yeah, it's a funny name, like kwangdong, but you can eat it, you can make a jam out of it, you can put it on your skin. But it's really incredible.
An apricot and marula.
Marula's from South Africa, yeah.
Wow. Okay. No, I love this.
Very cool.
First of all, I'm a skin product junkie.
She is. That's why she has beautiful skin. Look at her.
I pay so much, and I think, and I always say this too, men, y'all need to pay attention to your skin too, because a lot of guys will be like, I just use soap and, regular lotion on my face. And you got to start not that you have to have problem skin, you want to start early so that you later on don't have those issues.
Yep.
Dan.
We've got some product for you.
Yeah, we
have some product for you.
Yes. See how red his cheeks are?
I know. But they're so cute. Dan is so cute.
Yeah, but no, and even look, I have combination skin, but the oil is great for your skin. Some people think, I already have oily skin, so I shouldn't be putting oil on my skin.
Yeah.
But something like this, explain.
Yeah, so I think a lot of time people think a facial oil, if they have oily skin, I don't want it. But what actually happens is when your skin is producing too much oil, it's because it's actually really dry. So putting a facial oil will help neutralize your skin and stop it producing extra oil, and helps to seal in the moisture. And so you have your skincare routine, whether it's washing your face, toner, moisturizer, whatever that looks like. But facial oils are something that you can just add as the icing on the cake of any skincare routine.
No matter what you're doing.
No matter what you're doing. And we use such potent, incredible ingredients that it just enhances everything that you're doing. And you'll find it's mattifying. It's not going to be sticky. It's not going to be oily. It just has a very beautiful feel to it.
And different seasons, too, you need different products.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have our day and night serum, which is really great for evening. The day serum is
and if you're using other stuff, you can use it too.
Totally. Okay. Yeah. Whatever you use, you can just add a couple drops and massage it into your face.
Okay, this part for wrinkle here.
Yeah, you can mix. We have a collagen
and listen, definitely different products for daytime and nighttime because when you go to bed, I love an overnight oil.
Me too. Just so then you can wake up super dewy and super hydrated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much of you in your brand, and I know a lot of people listening out here who are entrepreneurs want to go into this beauty space.
Yeah.
What's a piece of general advice that you would have to them? And obviously authenticity seems to be a big part of what worked for you.
And patience.
Patience and all. I mean, you nailed it with authenticity. it is a space that is crowded. There's a lot of skincare out there. But if you have a purpose and you're doing it from the love of your heart and you really understand your products and what you're putting in it and the benefits they have on people, people are going to feel that and continue to use your products. So I think it just comes down to like, am I being authentic? Am I going to be using this product every day? Am I excited about it? What does that mean to me? And I think that's the question that you have to ask yourself. And that bleeds into anything that you do as an entrepreneur. Like if you really believe in what you do and you're truly excited from your core, people will feel that and people will support you.
And being strategic. I was listening to some of your interviews and I read an article about you. And I loved your mother told you when it comes to business, be an iron fist and a velvet glove.
Yes. Yeah.
What does that mean?
So I guess my mom is exactly that. She's this like petite Asian woman, beautiful, soft, elegant, all the things. But then she can also be like this iron fist where she's got this like incredible strength and incredible determination. And I think that's the beauty of being a woman. You know, you have this beauty, you have this grace, you have this amazing magic about you that you can take someone's breath away. But at the same time, if you pair that with strength and pair that with vision and pair that with determination, it's like your superpower, like a combination that only us women can carry. So.
And listen, once you have this product, right, the next step is how do people get the product?
Yeah.
And you've done some great partnerships. So talk about how once the product was in, now we have to get it in stores because that's a whole nother process in itself.
So when we launched Katini Skin, it was right around the same time that the 15% pledge came in. So a lot of these larger retailers were like, we need to create space for Black and brown brands and founders. And so I remember I was very clear. I'm like, I want us to live in that luxury space. And when we were like a few months from launching, I remember it was like Christmas time, freezing cold. I stood outside of Saks Fifth Avenue and I was like, we belong on Fifth Avenue. Like I want to be in a store like this where we can represent luxury for minority brands. And so it was like all emailing, following up, like, when was this? This was like 2020. So right around this time, 2 years ago, we ended up launching with Saks Fifth Avenue. So it was just like, at first you imagined it, and then like we did our work. We had meetings with them, and they just fell in love with the brand, and they loved that we were inspired by culture, and I really wanted to bring my Asian and African roots together, and that's something that resonated with them. So we started with Saks Online, and then shortly after, Bergdorf Goodman picked us up. And
that's a dream.
How did you get that meeting with Saks?
It was through the Incubators. So Catherine,
so Incubators, accelerators.
Yeah, they're really, really important. And so the introduction came from there, and then I sort of took it from there and sort of expanded on the conversations. And then after several meetings, we were able to get in to Saks, and then Bergdorf, and then Neiman Marcus.
And they gave you funding as well? The incubator?
The incubator. So they funded Katini Skin to get to market. And then now we've raised some money to then further our marketing and grow the business.
Did you ever anticipate this happening, like starting your own beauty brand? Just think about how you were kind of, early on, like you said, went to Australia, you went to the school, making your own products, and you come to New York, and you just never know what's going to happen. You're doing music, but then the pandemic hits.
Yeah.
I
never imagined it like this. It was actually quite funny. I was living with my sister during the pandemic, and this opportunity came, and I was very inspired by like, oh my God, what could be? And then I was like, no, but I'm an artist. Like I have to just stick to one thing. And my sister was like, are you insane? Like you are a person that has multiple talents. Like you have to do both. If the opportunity comes, don't close the door. Like this is a dream come true. And it took for her to like sit me down and kind of shake me to be like, you can do more than one thing. And I think that kind of reminded me like, it's so important to have that one person or your community of people that champions you and lets you sort of spread your wings and fly and take on certain things that you might be a little bit afraid of,
So people know you are still doing music, so let them know.
Yeah, definitely still do music. I had a couple of shows last week that I was just telling you about. I just released a record, Beautiful Tragedy, which is a 6-song EP that also takes influence from my cultural background. So you'll hear sonic influences from Japan and Africa. So yeah, I think music and skincare, they're both healing, they're both creative, they're both a part of my journey. So I'm really grateful to be able to.
And where can they find Katini?
Katini on all digital platforms, so Spotify, iTunes,
Okay, they can find your, skincare.
Yeah, both. Skincare, you can find it on our website, Bergdorf, Neiman Sachs. We actually also just got accepted into the Sephora Accelerate program.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, so we're launching at Sephora in the next year, which is like a total dream come true. Great. And that's another accelerated program that champions Black and Brown founders. So
thank you so much. And we'll have more of you and Wealth Wednesdays for Entrepreneurs Facebook group, which is free. I'll be talking to you on StaceyTisdale.com about mindfulness and money. You're incredible. And thank you so much
for having me.
Wealth Wednesday.
Well deserved. So and guys, make sure you listen to the music. Beautiful Tragedy. Yep, Beautiful Tragedy. And also Katini Skin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Way up.